It's showtime, folks. Enjoy the show.
A fine Saturday matinee to you both, Andy, Steve.
Hey, you got a little Irish going on there.
Stop it.
You stole my brogue.
I get it in my head.
A fine Saturday morning to you.
There you go.
May the look of the Irish be with you.
How are we doing? How's your movie lives? Steve, Andy, good?
Yeah, it's been good. It's been, I haven't been watching a ton of movies. I did watch Fright Night. I returned to that old classic, which is one of my faves, because last night I was actually a guest on the Fright Night Minute, which is kind of exciting. So yeah, I'm on minutes 56 through 60 to chat about that. And we got to talk about the turning of Evil Ed. So it was like a key part I got to be a part of. It was great.
You're so cool, Brewster.
Exactly.
So how far behind are they in recording, or how far ahead are they recording? How far behind?
They are actually hoping
morning.
They're hoping to actually record all the episodes before they start releasing them.
What?
Like, what a novel idea.
That's unreal.
Yeah, they're on, like I said, I recorded right up to the hour mark. They're going to try finishing, and they want to start releasing episodes around, I think they said they might start in September, but they were thinking that they might kind of do a Halloween thing. So
I worry without the constant pressure of catching up to yourself, right? I just don't think we'd ever finish.
Well, yeah. And my fear is that I would then really feel like I never was taking a break.
Yeah, right. That's true.
Because you'd be recording for 6 months, and then you'd be releasing for 6 months and editing.
You
and
never get a vacation.
No, Andy, you just record everything. You do all the movies, and then you have, a decade of editing and releasing them. That's all you need to do. You just sit down, start recording now, and then by the time you're like 70, you just have to start releasing these things, and it's your legacy for it'll live long past you.
It's my retirement project.
For crying out loud, why did we not think of that?
Because at that point, it will be a whole nostalgia factor. People will be like, oh, yeah, I remember in the early 2000s when there were these Marvel movie things. Yeah.
No, it'll be, oh, yeah, I remember when people used to listen to podcasts.
Ouch.
It'll be a whole new thing, Pete. It'll be so much cooler.
I can't wait.
It'll be like
I'm going to get my
in your
port.
heads.
Yes, I need a port installed so I can mainline.
That's what it'll be.
Mainline advertising supported brain media.
But it's actually, they're doing one of them has a connection to Tom Holland, who directed it. And so so Tom Holland is going to be on the show. They already interviewed Chris Sarandon and some other people involved in the movie and stuff. So it's like, they got some, kind of a sweet spot to kind of do that show. It's going to be really interesting to see how it all comes together when they finally start releasing it.
I love that movie. That seems really out of character for me, but I love it so, so much.
It's one of those movies that I think hit probably all of us at the right age where, we just fell in love with it. So it's an easy watch. I had so much fun rewatching it the other night, and I already want to go back and watch it again because it's just great.
Well, when you say at the right age, of course, the right age is really any age that gets to watch Amanda Beers on screen at that age. She had quite a crush.
Oh yeah, definitely. She was great in those fantastic 80s outfits, right? With her little popped collar and her cute little perm.
Those were the days. Steve, what are you watching?
Indeed.
Let's see. I am doing a little catch up with my kids, showing them movies that I really enjoy, that now that they're older, they have an opportunity to sit down and watch them with me. So a couple weeks ago, sat down with my youngest and convinced her to watch Shakespeare in Love, because she just never wanted to watch that one and loved it. And so this week we did Inside Man, Spike Lee's film with Denzel Washington, because it's a unique heist film, and it's one that I thought they would just really, really enjoy. And so that's what I did this week. And that's about it.
Were you right?
Oh, yeah. No. She enjoyed it. Oh, no, there is another one. Sorry, I forgot because we didn't finish that one. Okay, so Inside Man, yes, the beginning was dragging a little bit, and then once the heist was going on, she's like, "Oh, this is really kind of neat." And then with the flash forwards into the interviews that they're doing, where they're trying to figure out who was actually on the crew, she really liked that. Then the other night, I was scrolling through Netflix and I thought, let me just see what she thinks of this. And I pushed play and she says, well, wait, who's in this? I said, well, Johnny Depp. And she said, well, who else? I said, well, there's, Tobey Maguire's got this really small part at the beginning. And she said, but who's the other guy? I said, oh, Benicio del Toro. And she said, okay. And about 5 minutes in, she said, what is this? My brain hurts. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas was not her cup of tea. We did make it about 40 minutes through. We made it about 40 minutes through, and she said, I can't anymore. This is just hurting my brain far too much. But she did enjoy it. She wasn't sure exactly what was going on. And I said, but that's the point. These characters don't know what's going on either. So I just forgot how crazy that film is. So much fun.
That's a hard film for even adults to watch.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
It's like being on drugs. That film is like just dropping acid. It's a total trip.
I think that's what he was going for.
Totally nailed the character. Yeah. I mean, that's exactly right.
Yeah.
Well, I had an interesting experience. We were, I don't remember. It was Monday night. Andy and I came in to record this week's show that just went live. And I think you remember, Andy, I was very disappointed because I had to leave the living room in which my wife and daughter were watching 8th grade.
Right.
I came out of our recording and they were both gone. And the TV was on its little screensaver thing. And I hit the menu to see where they were. And there was still a half hour left in the movie. And I was shocked when they got back. They came back from walking the dog and they said, we can't finish this movie.
What?
Yeah. Not because it was bad, but because they were just overwhelmed. My daughter in particular was overwhelmed by like the discomfort of what was a very recent, I guess, sense memory of the experience. It was, she said she went back and forth, the roller coaster of being like, well, that's ridiculous, to why does she hate her dad so much? Why is she so mean? To, oh my God, they're in the mall. I think it was the dad stalking the friend scene in the mall. And she was like, I'm out. I can't do this right now.
Because you said recent sense memory. So are you saying that you've recently stalked her at the mall? Is that what's going on?
I appreciate what you've done there, traitor. That's not what I meant. But now you've planted a seed.
Okay.
Isn't that interesting though? That they haven't seen the last 32 minutes of the movie, and I am a little bit heartsick by that. I need to at least get my wife to finish it.
Seems like
I think it's so good.
They made it awfully far.
Yeah.
I
know. Just get to the other side. I think they just needed a break, and so anyhow, last night we all sat down for family movie night. We watched Crazy Rich Asians again.
Nice.
They had not seen that movie. That was another, once again, a delightful little romp.
I started watching Amazon's Electric Dreams. Have you guys watched any of those? It's like Amazon's own
Black Mirror.
Black Mirror.
Yeah, I haven't. I've heard about it. I've heard it's good.
I'm not very far into it. I've only watched the first 2 episodes and just started the third one. But I'd say between the two, Black Mirror definitely is better. But what I do like is that at least they're pulling like from Philip K. Dick's stories, and I think that they're doing some interesting stuff. So
oh God, why Chernobyl?
Oh yeah.
Nope.
Steve, you haven't done it?
No, I don't have HBO. I had it for a short period of time, but I don't have the HBO right now. But now everybody's talking about the Chernobyl, so now I may have to bring it back for a month to catch up on what sounds like an amazing show.
It's just 5 episodes, and it's stunning. It is just stunning. And I'm way too late to it. It dropped, and I didn't think I had too much other stuff to watch. And then everybody started talking about it on Discord and getting very excited about it. I'm telling you, the everybody on Discord is absolutely right. I mean, particularly between, Nick Langdon's contributions, Mr. Tilquist, like they're 100% right. It's an amazing series. And we started listening to the companion podcast with the writer and showrunner, Craig. He's not the showrunner, I don't think. But anyway, the originator of the show, Craig Mazin, of the he's a Script Notes podcast, right?
That's correct.
Him?
Yeah. Yep.
And it with John August. I like John August. I could say that because Andy had to step away. And it is great. The podcast hosted by Peter Sagal, talking about how much he loves this movie. I mean, it's just fantastic. I haven't made it through all of the podcast yet, but it is this whole little sweet, like, cornucopia of Chernobyl related media. The 5 episodes and then 5 episodes of the podcast. It's perfect entertainment and a perfect exploration on the cost of secrets and lies. And I adore it. I adore it.
Oh, that's something I'm going to have to check out. I'll get it for the month. That's the thing that now that we've hit like max, streaming apps, and now it's no longer, you just have to have Netflix or Hulu. It's now HBO. It's going to be Disney. It's all of those things. I like the idea that you can pause your subscription to one and then have the one for, so it's not like people are starting to make it out like, you're going to be paying as much as you did for cable to have all of these, you got to have CBS Access for the Picard show. You're going to have that, that you're ending up going to be nickel and dimed over like a dozen different little streaming services. But I think it's just about cultivating, or I guess curating what you want to watch and saying, well, I'm going to do, Hulu for a while and then I'll bring in HBO, or I'm also thinking about 1 month bringing in Showtime to do the whole Twin Peaks thing because I missed that. And then I'll shut that off and I can then just, sort of, I guess, streaming service shuffle, as I need. So that's my plan for that. But now that Chernobyl is getting so much hype, it's one that I'm considering bringing back the HBO for.
Yeah, it is 100% worth it for the month. You watch it in a week, you get the whole thing, done. It's just fantastic. Other news, I think just hit yesterday that this Bryan Singer. Why do people keep hiring Bryan Singer? Is what I'm saying. Because inevitably, right now, they're going to have to fire him.
What did he get hired on now?
Red Sonja. And so Red Sonja is out, which is, I don't know. I think I was excited about this. I think I was very excited that they were going to do this again. But he's he was in for Bohemian Rhapsody. He's out for Bohemian Rhapsody. They hired him for Red Sonja. Should have seen this coming. Yesterday, he's out. He's been replaced by Jill Soloway, creator of Transparent, the fantastic Amazon show. Which also has some troubled, controversial performances. Actor performances. So it's interesting. Again, Bryan Singer, I don't know, man, stop being you. Don't be you anymore.
Well, I think it's smart for them to bring on a woman when you've got a character like Red Sonja. I think it worked really well with Wonder Woman. It's, you bring on a, talented female, director to tell a woman's story and do it well and do it right. So I'm glad that they, I don't know what the issues were for that change, but I think that's a smart choice. And I hope that really works out for them because the Conan reboot, fabulously flopped. So maybe this is another way into that cinematic universe. So, let's see.
Do we need, is that one that you've been hankering for? And I mean, no disrespect to Conan fans. But is that a cinematic universe that we need?
No, probably not. But there's a lot that we don't need, but we get it anyway.
Oh, there's a delightful amount that we don't need that we get anyway. That's not one I missed. Yeah. It'll be great. I'm sure it'll be great. I'm excited about it.
Well, I do have one other piece of potential movie news. We'll see.
Yeah. Something you're excited about?
Something I'm excited about because it involves Andy Nelson again.
Outstanding. Again, he's not here.
No, he's not. But as listeners may recall, Andy has never seen the movie To Live and Die in L.A. So the Alamo Draft House is showing it in July. So in early July, if we can find the date and time that works out, I think we've got that. I'm going to go take him to see To Live and Die in L.A. on the big screen, so he can check that one off his list. So, see, he just waits for me to see movies. I actually physically drag him to the theater to see the movies that I want him to see. He just, hopes I get around to watching In the Name of the Father. I'm not waiting for him to get around to watching this one. I'm making him go.
That's great. That's great. You got to take the bull by the horns, take the cart by the reins. Take the horse to water.
You can lead an Andy to a film, but you can't make him watch it? No, I am going to make him watch it.
You're going to make him watch it. I'm ready. I think we should kick off with trailers and see what happens. Let's see how our timing looks. If we can get back. Andy, for those who don't know, Andy has walked away because a contractor showed up at his house. But he has a good trailer this morning, so we're going to see how it goes. Why don't you go first? Because I think we're going to start high.
Okay.
And go down from there.
This is what appeals to me about this one is that it's a buddy road trip style film. This is Peanut Butter Falcon, which is a small film with some big names in the cast that's going to be coming to theaters on August 9th. And what makes this one unique is that we've got a character named Zach who runs away to pursue his dreams of becoming a wrestler. Now, there's, in that setup, what's the big deal? It's a guy that wants to become a wrestler. Well, the unique aspect of this film is that our main character here, Zach, is portrayed by Zach, I hope I pronounce this correctly, Gottsagen, who is an actor who has Down syndrome. So the whole twist to this story is we've got an adult with Down syndrome who has escaped from his care home to pursue his dream and crosses paths with Shia LaBeouf because, well, not Shia LaBeouf at playing himself, who's actually playing a character named Tyler. I think it would be interesting if he was playing himself. That might be a very meta approach to this film because he could be out there telling, Zach to just do it. But unfortunately, that's not the film we get. But it's these two outcasts out on the road, and we have Dakota Johnson as well as Eleanor, who is trying to track Zach down. I think she's a nurse at the care home. But the cast also includes John Hawkes, Thomas Hayden Church, Bruce Dern, John Bernthal. So a lot of recognizable faces, names in a movie that is one of those small ones that you would expect to play at a festival, and then you probably don't see it again. So I'm optimistic about this one. It's one of those feel-good movies about people pursuing their dreams despite everyone around them telling them they can't do it. So it's something I'm looking forward to. I don't know how wide a release it's going to get, but it's one of these positives out there, and I enjoy these uplifting stories.
I'm very excited about it. I was super moved by the trailer. I'd never heard of it. I didn't know what was coming, and I just think that these guys together on screen, they're just fantastically charismatic, and the whole wrestling journey is so. It's just adorable. It's just an adorable journey for both of these guys. And when he says, how far is it on the map? About this far? Are your fingers to scale? Yes. That was just, I laughed all the way through. I thought it was just really, really cute. So I'm excited about it. I don't know these guys, well, Michael Schwartz and
Tyler Nilsson.
Nilsson. Do we know them? I
looked into them, and they've worked on a couple small, shorts, projects, and also some documentary stuff. Mm-hmm. I think Tyler did some mountaineering, rock climbing documentaries. I see in there. So something like that. But yeah, this is their first feature film from these two guys. So, like I said, it's one of these small films that, can easily be forgotten, but I'm hoping this cast draws some attention to it.
Well, it's you win the award for picking the trailer that gets my eyes a little misty. It was a nice one. I really enjoyed the trailer, and it's just one of those heartfelt stories that I'm super excited to see this one now. Everything about it was right in my wheelhouse.
How's your contractor? Did you set up?
We're all good.
Is everything good there? Good.
But did you get to tell everyone the story as to why I disappeared?
Oh, yeah. You were just, Andy's gone. Like a ghost. I'm going to go second. And it's because we decided to go in order of, in order of quality.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Okay. So I'm picking a movie that actually opens this weekend, but not very wide. But it's one that I can't believe I hadn't heard of, because it feels like this is something that if you're a fan of movies like Sing Street and The Commitments and these sort of music movies, especially music movies coming from England, Scotland, Ireland, then this might be a movie that you want to see, from director Tom Harper, writer Nicole Taylor. It is Wild Rose. It is a story of a musician from Glasgow dreaming of becoming a Nashville star. It doesn't really matter what they say in the trailer. It doesn't really matter. None of the story really matters. It's the music for me that just gets me going. And this is just this young woman wants to become a country star, and it is all performed by actress Jessie Buckley, whom I had never heard of, but I think she's just fantastically charismatic and delightful. She gets out of jail after doing 12 months in jail, and she has to come to terms with reintegrating with her family, all the while she wants to do something with her life and get herself out of, the life that she was in. And she's going to do that by music. I think she looks just great. It is getting some terrific reviews. It is certainly open in New York and LA right now if you want to see it. Opening weekend, this weekend's probably open where you guys are, right? For all I know, because Arizona, who knows? But I'm telling you, I'm very excited about this. I can't let go. The mom is played by Julie Walters. Delightful actor, Julie Walters. She is fantastic. She's in everything, but most people, I think, if you remember her, you'll remember her as Molly Weasley in the entire Harry Potter series. So it's really fun to see her kind of out of character. So anyhow, what do you guys think?
It's totally that musical journey sort of movie that I find really inspiring, and her character looks really interesting. The cast, everything looks really nice, and it's just, I don't know. There's something really. I think the nice twist is that it's this person from another country going to Nashville. There's that kind of twist to it, to be kind of singing over there, and it's like I kind of like that idea of the journey. So. Yeah, it just totally. It was a nice. It looks like a nice film, and I don't know if it'll be kind of like up there like Sing Street, but it's totally going to be one of those films that will get me because, it's that journey film, and I don't know. I really enjoyed her character, so I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, this is exciting, and Pete, you keyed in on the let's have a movie that's related. Movie titles that have food items in them was sort of the.
You can eat roses, right?
Right, sure, but. We've got here's a little series on "Don't Tell Me What I Can't Do" kind of series of people that are going to pursue their dreams despite people telling them, "No, don't do that. This is a really bad idea." As a parent, this is one of those things where you've got a parent that's trying to pursue a dream, and you've got people saying no, but you're not doing what's right by their kids. And she's saying, no, I have to do this because of my kids. And it's that dynamic that I think adds something to set this apart from, it's just another Star is Born sort of retread. There's a different dynamic here. And that's something that I appreciate in a film like this, because we've seen a Star is Born, that type of story done. But when it's a single parent type situation, it adds a different element to it. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to this one.
It'll kick off our series on misbehaving moms. Can't wait for that.
It'll be like Bad Moms 2.
Right. All right, Andy, go ahead. What are we doing?
I know you guys are super excited about my trailer because I know as kids, you guys were fans of Fleagle, Bingo, Drooper, and Snorky, right?
Yes.
Wasn't everybody?
Even heard of them.
What?
I have
You've never heard of the Banana Splits?
Oh my
That
gosh.
was the Banana Splits?
Yes.
What?
That song you just sang, La La La. See, I've heard the song.
Yeah.
I have
Yes.
no idea.
Tra-la-la, tra-la-la.
No
Yes.
idea that those are the Banana Splits. Nope.
Yeah, the Banana Splits. It's a beagle, an ape, a lion, and an elephant. And they are a band. This was a TV show from the late 60s that Hanna-Barbera did, working with Sid and Marty Krofft. And it was a blend of live action and animated bits with a musical group. And in fact, they did comics and they did all sorts of stuff. I still actually have one of my old Banana Splits comics. I loved these characters when I was a kid. I had just a blast watching them. And lo and behold, Warner Brothers decides, you know what we need? The world has been waiting for a Banana Splits horror movie. So first off, I mean, it doesn't look that great of a movie, but what I love about it is that they actually took this old property from the 60s and have kind of turned it into something that they're allowing people to kind of play around with. And so here we have, now granted, it's a little bit of a stretch because this is technically a TV movie. I think it's just going to be on Sci-Fi Channel, and then it'll be like a digital release. It's not going to be playing theatrically, but it's, I just had to pick it because it's such a fun idea to take this old property and to actually be allowed to license it for such a purpose. But here they are turning these characters. This is the Banana Splits, and it is now this horror movie. And so what they've done is it's a story about this little boy who's been wanting to go see them, and his family takes him for his birthday to a live taping of the show. Unfortunately, it also happens the same day that they find out that the show is getting canceled. Well, these four characters that make up the Banana Splits, again, it's Fleagle, Bingo, Drooper, and Snorky. They go on a murderous rampage and start killing people and taking the kids and just all sorts of horrific things. And it turns out that they're robots, all sorts of craziness. And I guess it's kind of inspired by Five Nights at Freddy's, which I really don't know anything about, but I've seen the characters, so I can see that. I don't know. It's probably not going to be very good, but I love the idea that they've actually done this to this property. And I think it'd be interesting to see if more old properties kind of get played around with. What do you guys think?
I'm excited about this. It's been a long time since I thought about the Banana Splits. I was looking into a little bit about the history of the show. I did not know that Richard Donner directed season 1 of the original TV show and some of the live action, because Pete, if you've never seen the show, you've got the live action pieces with the Banana Splits, but then they would show like cartoons, and it was like these serialized cartoons. And what I remember most is in syndication. As I looked at this, it said in syndication, some of the animated ones were different from when it originally aired. So when I saw it in syndication in the 70s, there was one that was The Adventures of Gulliver. And so it was, that was the one that I remember, because there was one character, and I can't remember his name, whose, I guess, catchphrase was, "We're doomed. We'll never make it." And that's a little quotable catchphrase in our house between my wife and I that we remember. Adamant and Secret Squirrel were also on this. So I remember those really well. And the Banana Splits, I hadn't even thought about this. I guess there was a reboot in 2008 of the show that I completely missed and didn't know about. But yeah, this is a unique take on revisiting the property that I don't know who the target audience is for this, because I guess it's us that grew up with it. I don't know why.
Well, certainly not the children.
No, it's not the children, but I guess it's like, well, we're going to bring back something from your childhood, but we're going to do something dark and twisted with it, and people will appreciate that, I guess.
Well, I mean, I'm with Andy. I think that's great that they are exploring like new ways to use old content. What else are you going to do with this stuff, right? I mean, I think that's fantastic. Yeah. I mean, it's like you're speaking a different language, Flingo and Bingo and who's it's and what's it's. Like, I just don't.
But if it was Chuck E. Cheese, you'd be in.
That's what I'm hearing you say. You know what? I think I've been in a Chuck E. Cheese once. Like, was it a rat?
How about Showbiz Pizza? Would you be down with Showbiz Pizza?
Do you know what? Little Caesar. You give me a Little Caesar horror franchise.
Little Caesar didn't. Well, he didn't have a thing. Like Showbiz, you had the bear and the gorilla.
Are you
and
kidding?
all
He
those
had
characters.
the Roman Empire, man. Caesar didn't have a thing.
There was. Andy, did you ever see that documentary? And I can't find the name of it right now. But there was a guy that was trying to find like all the animatronic characters from Showbiz Pizza Place to like put one together of his own. So he was trying to, because, Showbiz went out of business, all this stuff was scattered, but there's a whole documentary about this guy who loved that experience and was trying to reassemble the stage show from Showbiz Pizza Place with the animatronic characters. And I think he got most of them. I don't know. I saw it years and years ago, but it was one of those documentaries that sort of hinges on here's an interesting subject matter, but this person is kind of OCD about it. And so we're sort of exploiting their quirkiness for entertainment value. That makes me a little uncomfortable, but it was an interesting exploration of something nostalgic that I hadn't thought about in decades.
At least we could all be on a movie podcast to talk about it. I'm sorry, what?
Oh, man.
All right.
That's crazy. That is just crazy. Yeah, and what's funny is the Banana Splits, and this is another weird thing, is they actually had a comic book crossover with Suicide Squad a couple of years ago as well. So clearly it's a property that they have been working on finding ways to exploit for years now. Very strange.
I hope it's great. I hope it's great because there is a person out there. That person is just like us, like a fan of enormous magnitude, and they just so happen to be a fan of the Banana Splits, and they are doing everything they can to make the Banana Splits the pride of Warner Brothers, and I hope they succeed. Whoever that person is, my hat's off to you, sir or ma'am, because your fandom in shepherding this property is below no others. It is superlative.
That's great.
Okay.
I just sent you guys a link to the Suicide Squad Banana Splits.
Okay. And I found
comic over in Discord.
The documentary I was talking about is called The Rock-afire Explosion, which I believe is the name of the band at Showbiz Pizza Place. They are the Rock-afire Explosion. So I found the trailer.
So funny.
If you want to check that one out.
All right.
Awesome.
Wow.
Cool.
All right.
Should we do lists?
Is it that time?
It is.
All right. Well, this week we're talking about the murder on the Orient Express. And people really wanted to hear us talk about fuzzy faces. Great mustaches, guys. Holy cow.
I want you to know I watched no mustache movies in preparation for this list this week. Not
I'm disappointed
one.
in you, Pete. I'm so disappointed.
I think Steve has the honors this morning.
I do, I guess. Didn't I last?
Yes.
It's because I get my trailers
It's
in
all
early.
about the trailers.
I get them in on Wednesday
order.
or Thursday. There we go.
Yeah,
when Pete does his at 6 a.m., then he knows where.
I don't like this rule. I'm going to have to start picking my trailer like Saturday afternoon as soon as we're done.
Yeah.
No, you
quick, do it while Pete's editing last week's show, so you know he's busy.
No, you do what Pete does, and you submit last because then you get to sit back and say, "Well, okay, they're going to steal that one and that one. Okay, now I can play my other cards." I know what he's all about. He just sits back and lets us, stumble around, and it's like, "Oh, here's where we go." All right. So, first off, my approach to this, because when you search for movies with mustaches, you get lots of things. I'm like, well, yeah, there's a guy with a mustache, but it's not a really fantastic, fabulous mustache. It's just a mustache. And that happened a lot in the 70s and 80s. So I went for this is a unique mustache because to me, that's why we picked that from Murder on the Orient Express. It's not just a mustache. It's really fabulous. So,
not according to Agatha Christie, just as
right. She was not a fan.
Well, so I start with, what I think is a tremendously fabulous cinematic mustache that is worn by Dustin Hoffman in Hook. Because you've got a cartoon character, you've got to have a cartoonish mustache, and it's just, I think, a trademark of that character. Everybody recalls from the Peter Pan, Disney's Peter Pan, he's got that long curly mustache, and they brought that through for Dustin Hoffman to wear in Hook. There's my first pick.
So now I have a question for you. Are you picking based on just the mustache, or are you doing mustache but also in films that you like?
Oh, just the mustache.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, well, this one, okay. The others on my list, I enjoy more of this. I mean, Hook is problematic. For people that haven't seen it, I think it's one worth checking out. It's not, a great movie. It's not one where I say I hate the movie. I don't know. Do you hate Hook, Andy? Is that what you're saying? Or
No.
Okay.
I'm just curious,
Yeah.
how you go about. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Hook. I have tons of problems with it, but it's. But I'm just curious because I'm like, yeah. Well, I'll talk about it when I get to it. I guess. But yeah, I was just
every
wondering.
list, it's at least a movie that I've seen, and it's one that, yes, I would at least recommend. It's not something where I'd say, well, there's a mustache, but oh my gosh, I would never have anybody watch that movie again. It's something that if they haven't seen, that yes, they should check it out, especially for the mustache,
Especially for the mustache.
Well, yeah, and I agree with that. And I think I'm not saying that I genuinely hate any of the movies that are on my list and they made the bar because of the mustache. That would be ridiculous. There are movies I'm not a fan of that are actually on my list because I'm such a fan of the mustache.
Okay, that's where I'm getting.
I approached it, and my first pick, I think, is demonstrative of the point. I approached it not because of a film with great mustaches, but because there is a mustache that I find deeply aspirational, and that is the mustache. Well, and I could have picked any movie, but in this particular movie, it's natural, it's brushed, it's coiffed, you might say. It's organized, it's beautiful gray. It is the mustache of Sam Elliott in The Big Lebowski. And
you're pulling one we've talked about. Rule.
I am. I'm pulling the Steve Sarmento movie that Pete and Andy, recursive Pete and Andy have talked about, movie rule. And I could have picked any other one, but when you look at I just look at stills of him from that movie, and I realize just how able a man he is at wearing a mustache. And I think you will agree with me, as you go through movies of people with mustaches, there are many where they're not able men at wearing mustaches. And I think Sam Elliott has proven time and again that he is. That is a man who knows how to wear a mustache. There you go.
I was really struggling with mustaches because I was looking at so many mustaches and I'm like, is that a special mustache? I don't know. And so I've been debating, going back and forth. I have way too many movie choices to pick from. And I'm like,
way too many. Too many. Yeah.
There's a lot of mustaches. And so I'm trying to figure out, okay, I don't want to just pick somebody who wears mustaches all the time, because then it's just, you're picking them more than the mustache. So I'm trying to find mustaches that stand out because it's a character who really is wearing that mustache and wearing it well. So for my first choice, and it's a little cheating because it's part of a goatee, but I think that's I'm going to end up fudging all of that because I think it's just one of those things where it's going to end up tying together in other facial hair, I guess. But it's Max von Sydow in Flash Gordon as Ming the Merciless. He's got. Not only does he have the fantastic Fu Manchu sort of mustache with the great goatee, but he's got just that whole head, that kind of bald head, and those the peaked eyebrows, and just everything about his look in that movie is so perfect for that kind of campy comic book world that he's doing. So I love what he's doing in that movie. It's so over the top, and he's clearly enjoying it. So that's my first pick, Flash Gordon with Max von Sydow.
That's a good pick.
That is
a good pick for sure.
Yeah. And
I was torn because it's not just a mustache, but I'm like, it still is pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Well, I appreciate that so it sounds like you're avoiding all the Tom Selleck and Burt Reynolds mustache, because it's just, it's not part of the character.
It's them.
Right. It's just them. It's the mustache is there because those are guys with mustaches. So, yeah.
Exactly.
So, I went with a similar route on that. And for my second pick, I know I've had this on the list many times, but I will always, if there's ever an opportunity to mention this film, and it didn't come to mind right away, but it showed up on a search, and I was like, that is a fantastic mustache that Ben Stiller wears in Dodgeball. As White Goodman.
As White Goodman, yeah.
And it is sort of I guess it's not quite a goatee, but it is the sort of, mustache that comes down to the side. So it's hard to say how we define mustache in terms of facial hair, but yeah, that's one of my favorites.
That's
nice.
Yeah, that's a good strong pick. It is a character mustache. I feel like my picks ended up being a mustache as a celebration of the masculinity of the character. So I start with Sam Elliott, and I'm going to move into, and I'll say again, this is another character actor that has a catalog of fantastic mustaches. But I'm going to go with his performance in Gangs of New York. That is Daniel Day-Lewis as the butcher, who has an exceptionally masculine and strong mustache of the period. Again, it is very well maintained, well waxed, nice curl, and I find it central to his identity as the butcher.
That's not one of my favorite movies, but
I totally agree.
Man, does he have a great mustache in that movie?
Wears it so well.
Exactly.
And it's similar to Albert Finney's. He's got the little, the waxed curls on the end.
That's right.
All right. So for my next choice, this is a movie that I think a lot of people have issues with, and I certainly do too. It's a remake. It's the Coen brothers, and it's The Lady Killers. And I think that it's a film that struggled a little bit. I don't think that they adapted it nearly as well as they could have. But you know me, I'm a big fan of Tom Hanks. And I love the character he plays. He goes so over the top in his character in this film. And I mean, he has this vibe like he is Colonel Sanders from Kentucky Fried Chicken. Like his character is just, it's nonsensical and hilarious. And I love watching him in it because he's fun. And I think that's what makes the film work for me. And he really, I mean, Tom Hanks is a guy who doesn't often wear facial hair. As he always says, he doesn't have a mustache face. So, but he's Goldthwait Higginson Dorr, PhD is his name. And he's got, not only does he have that, and again, it's kind of a goatee, but he's got the mustache. It kind of comes down. It's got the handlebars that kind of hang down and the little goatee down the bottom. And then he's got the great coif of hair on top. So that's my second pick, The Lady Killers.
Yeah. Okay. Also not a favorite movie, but an aspirational mustache.
Okay. Definitely.
Yeah.
All right,
Steve.
All right, so there's mustaches, and then there are epic mustaches, and then there are epic mustaches with really crazy stories behind them. So when we first talked about mustaches, I had to have this at the top of my list. I was fingers crossed that it was going to steal it, and I thought probably not, because I don't know that either of you have seen this film. It's not a film that a lot of people have seen. It's a crazy, insane movie. It's a story of a young man who is sentenced to 7 years in prison for robbing a post office and ends up spending 3 decades in solitary confinement. This is one of the most notorious criminals in England. He changed his name to Charles Bronson, and a film was made about him. He was portrayed by Tom Hardy. And the crazy story behind this is that Tom Hardy would go to meet with Bronson, and they established some mutual respect, to the point that Charles Bronson shaved off his mustache and sent it to Tom Hardy so that it could be made into a mustache for Hardy to wear in the filming of the movie.
Wow.
Yes. That's how crazy this guy is. It's a brutal movie. It's an insane movie. It's worth checking out. It's out there on streaming, I think, through Hoopla and maybe a couple other services. This was the film that I think, it was before Tom Hardy was, really well recognized name and director. I always never know how to pronounce his name. Nicholas Winding.
Winding. Yeah, Winding Refn.
So this was 2008, so prior to him getting all that attention from Drive. It is just brutally violent, crazy movie, but definitely worth checking out, particularly when you know that the mustache that Tom Hardy is wearing is a real mustache from an insane man.
That is an amazing story. I am a better person for knowing that story. Gross.
That's
What does it say about Tom Hardy that he's like, okay, I'm gonna put this
Says
mustache
everything.
on my face?
it's Tom Hardy. He's a little on the edge there. You know that. Yes,
That's true. I do. Yes.
Wow. I don't even know where to go from there. I feel like you just ended the lists. I don't have a
Mission
story as
accomplished.
good as that.
That's what I was hoping for. Yes.
That's what happens when he goes first. He just kills it for
That's
you.
right. He dropped the mic. I do have a number of choices left. So you have these mustaches as a representative sort of feature of the masculinity of the character wearing them. And sometimes they're well coiffed, as we had with Max von Sydow and Tom Hanks and Sam Elliott, Daniel Day-Lewis. They're well. And sometimes it's just, boom, I can put a thing on my face. Look at me. I don't care. I don't care if it's, I just put a thing on my face. And in that regard, I think the award for my top pick goes to Harry Shearer in This Is Spinal Tap, because like the movie, which is just, look, we can put this in the world. We're crazy. We can do whatever we want. Like his mustache and the handlebars that go down are just this sort of disorganized mesh of hair that screams, look at my manliness right now. Look at what I can do. And it is it's sort of a gross representation of the disorganized kind of 70s that the character is trying to portray. So I'm going with Harry Shearer, the messiest of the mustaches on my list.
There's a lot of hair there.
There's a lot of hair there. Boom, put a thing on a face.
Well, I too am struggling at which one to pick, because I have a few final options that I may just have to give shout outs to. All right, I'm going to go with this one, I think, instead of the other one, because this is a mustache. It's a pretty normal looking mustache. But what I think works so well about it is this is a mustache on a comic book character that really kind of had an iconic look because of his mustache and his haircut. It is, of course, J. Jonah Jameson in Spider-Man, and nobody played him better than J.K. Simmons. And seeing him pop up in the first Spider-Man, I was like, oh my God, they just found the perfect embodiment of this character. Everything about him was spot on. The cigar, the attitude, everything was great. And the mustache just worked perfectly. Again, it's not like a super special mustache, but it defines that character so well. So I have to throw that on the list. So that's my final pick.
That's a good pick.
That's a good pick. Yeah.
It's a good pick. It's a strong stash.
Yes.
Strong stash.
It is.
Again, it's something that's coming from something out of comic books and cartoons, so it's sort of an exaggerated stash, and the fact they could bring that along into the real world and do it so effectively, I think gives great credit to that mustache.
Yeah.
I would like to say hats off to all three of us together that no one picked Zardoz, Sean Connery and Zardoz.
Haven't seen it. I have not seen it.
I haven't either.
I don't know. That's one of those. I'm putting on there as a bonus pick because the mustache so beautifully accentuates the outfit that they put him in.
Or is the mustache accentuating the outfit? I don't know what's. Woo! Yeah,
it's tough.
Something's happening there.
Tough. All right.
Well, I've got just a few to throw out. Gordon Liu in Kill Bill Volume 2 with just the fantastically groomed. Just the whole thing, all that white hair everywhere is just beautiful. And then, of course, you can't talk about mustaches without bringing up Charlie Chaplin and Groucho Marx. But again, they always had them, so it wasn't a huge thing, but still.
So does Groucho's count? Because it's not really a mustache.
It's not, but it counts, I think, because it's, in terms of cinematic mustaches, it's still kind of a cinematic mustache, even if it's just grease paint.
The thing I didn't look at all is, which of the mustaches are legit, are real, and which of them are not. I mean, we know Sam Elliott is a man who wears a lot of facial hair.
Right.
But I actually, and I'm assuming Daniel Day-Lewis did his own, but I don't know. Mostly because he did so many movies with facial hair, but I don't, maybe not. Harry Shearer did. because it's gross.
Well, we know Tom Hardy didn't.
Tom Hardy didn't. Yeah,
but it was a real mustache.
I look at like, did Kurt Russell in Tombstone? I mean, that was on my list because he was such
another great one.
A great mustache, and it's like the Sam Elliott mustache before it goes gray. It's like this just straight pure brown. So that was on my list. I definitely had. I had. It was Daniel Plainview was the other character mustache that was good, but it just wasn't the quality of the mustache. Yeah. Woof.
Well, you know what they say: with great mustache comes great responsibility. So all of these people show that.
All right. Nice work, gents. What are we going to do this week? What's up for the next run? I have not seen the movie yet.
I have, but it's been years. We're talking about Autumn Sonata. This is Ingmar Bergman's 1978 film starring Ingrid Bergman along with Liv Ullmann. And it's the story of a celebrated classic pianist and her neglected daughter. And I think that we could do, pianists in movies or just people playing the piano in films. That certainly could be something that we throw in there.
Have we done what was the list that got us doing? Like, didn't we do a musical performances one or?
Yeah, we did because you had.
I had like La La Land. I had Ryan Gosling on there, and
was it? Pianos, because you did the one with Elijah Wood playing the piano type thing. Yeah, so I don't know. That seemed to be.
I can't remember what was that movie or that we talked about. I don't remember. Was it? It was before Ingrid Bergman.
Right? Yeah, it was a long time ago.
A long time ago. This is why I have my document that has everything
Steve,
in it.
Historical archivist.
Yeah, let me see. I don't know. Maybe we just talked about it. April 13th. Because Andy had Immortal Beloved, Sweet and Low Down, and The Pianist, Pete. You had there was piano. It was all piano.
But what movie was it though? Do you have it?
No, I didn't write. It was whatever we were talking about on April 13th. I don't know what year.
Well, it would have been this year.
Was that this year? Because my trailer was.
It wasn't that long ago.
Yeah. I don't know. What were we doing 3 months ago or 2 months ago?
Well, that's settled science. I can find that out. Probably A Star Is Born was
people playing their
Star Is Born
this was
series.
People like actually learning to play instruments. Actors actually play musical instruments.
Great.
Yeah,
right.
There we go.
Okay, so that's good. We could do something about piano in there, though. I mean, specifically. Yeah. Or we could do it like piano teachers.
Well, she wasn't a piano teacher.
She wasn't a piano teacher?
She's a pianist.
Oh, she's pianist.
A celebrated classical pianist. And so, it's her and her daughter, basically, is the story of kind of how awful she is to her daughter. I think.
So
that's my recollection.
Okay, so
how about
it's relationship
parents?
Drama. Oh, my God. I like piano playing. Okay. How about just piano
playing? Right. And then a mother-daughter dynamics? Dysfunction? Yeah. I don't know. Stress.
The Mommy Dearest list.
Great. Let's do the function.
The Mommy Dearest list.
Mother-daughter dysfunction.
Yeah. Mother-daughter dysfunction. It's the MDD.
Yeah. Do we all have experience with that in our households?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
We could do something relating to seasons because it's Autumn Sonata.
Oh, there you go. Is the movie specific to? Okay, are you just pulling on the word, or is Autumn have anything to do with the setting of the film?
I can't remember. I'm trying to read through the plot synopsis. The mom's getting older, though, so I'm assuming it's Autumn Sonata because it's, later in life dealing with all this stuff with their relationship.
So maybe we could go the other way and say movies that are literally involving seasons. Like it's not a metaphor for age. It's literally thanks to see like Frozen.
We could. We could go that route. Well, I'm fine just throwing seasons in there. Like,
okay.
Movies specifically, like pointing out seasons or something. Multiple seasons. I don't know. Does it need to be multiple seasons?
No, it could just be
because otherwise every movie is a season,
right?
Well, no, I think that the season itself is somehow relevant to the story, because it's not like, oh, well, it's just, that movie takes place in the summer. No, there's something about that particular season that connects to the story somehow, so that it's important that it's winter, or they mention it. But of course, that gets into all the Christmas movies. But, where spring is important, or autumn, I'd say that's.
So how about seasons highlighted in film?
Yes, I would be. Yes, that sounds good.
But so does that mean we can pick summer break movies because it's just school's out? Because I feel like that's tying into the fact that school's out rather than it's summer. Or is this getting too nitpicky now?
It might be a little bit nitpicky. I'm trying to think of a movie where
I'm just establishing the rules so that I can break them later.
Well, of course you are. Doesn't that count, though? I mean, the season is directly related to the sort of cultural interpretation of school years.
Sure. Okay.
I think they're.
All right. Well, then there we
go.
We've got piano playing, mother-daughter dysfunction, and seasons highlighted in film.
I don't even know where they're going to go. I knew last week they were going to go with the beards. I knew that, or the mustaches. I knew it the moment we said it. But this one, I have no idea.
I will say there was, great cinematic stabbings last week. I was kind of hoping for that one.
I know. Okay.
What do you
Surprise us.
All right. The list is out there, everybody. Hop into the Show Talk channel and get your votes cast. Somebody's already voting. Is it Steve?
Of course. Of course. I've got to present some initial bias. Like, hey, lean this way, or they know it's me. They're going to go the opposite way. Then I retract my vote, and I'm messing with them totally. Go ahead. Which one am I voting for? Am I voting for all of them? Oh, can I vote for? I can vote for all of them. You don't know. You don't know.
Yeah, that's right.
There we go. It's a 3-way tie right now.
All right, everybody.
This is why I don't like this polling bot. We need a new poll bot.
I found a new polling. I did find a new polling bot, but it's really complicated, and I got overwhelmed, and I went back to bed.
Okay.
I should learn how to use it. Thank you, everybody, for hanging out with us this fine day, and joining us with the list. Post your favorite mustaches. I love the after chat more than anything else. And thanks for supporting us over at patreon.com/thenextreel. Spread the word. We're going on a little bit of a hiatus in July. So we're still doing this, right? Are we still doing this? Saturday Matinee? We didn't talk about that.
We haven't. We'll at least do it a few times.
Yeah,
right?
We'll do it a few times. We'll keep something going on through the month. But for now, things are going to slow down in the month of July a little bit over at the Next Reel, but definitely we'll still be hanging out on Discord. So we'll see you there. What's the first thing you guys are going to watch, Andy?
That's a great question. We have family plans actually this afternoon to see Toy Story 4. So probably that.
All right. Yeah. That's good, Steve.
Well, the kids have not seen Joe versus the Volcano, and it was only $5 on the iTunes store. So that's something we're slating for this weekend. Again, going back to catching them up on films that now that they're older, sit down and watch them with them. Yeah,
they're gonna love it. And if they don't,
Pete and I
don't
want to be on the Joe versus the Volcano Minute.
Mm-hmm.
What?
We're going to be guests. Yeah, we're going to be guests on the Joe versus Volcano Minute.
Do we know which minutes? Did you tell me that?
No, they haven't. They're still getting it all sorted out.
I can't wait for that. I have to tell you, the next thing I'm going to watch is it's thanks to Steve and JJ. Their conversation on Jonathan, I think, was really intriguing. It was great on their most recent trailer rewind, and it got me really wanting to see this movie. So it's all queued up, and I'm going to check it out.
Well,
awesome.
Yeah, that's the whole point. That's why we do that. And you listen to it, so you know what to expect on that one. And we say it's not necessarily for everybody, but definitely worth checking out.
I'm liking that Ansel Elgort.
Yes.
I'm going to give him a chance. Going to give him a shot.
I'm really looking forward to seeing what he's able to pull off in Spielberg's West Side Story, because I think we saw in Baby Driver, he's got some dance experience there. So I'm looking forward to seeing him pull that off.
Can't wait. Have a great week, everybody.
See ya.
Hondo.